City Safety, a new safety system that had never been before in the world. Volvo introduced the world's first feature in 2008 that automatically applies the brakes in emergency situations. However, during the media event held before its release, a disaster struck, bringing great embarrassment. While some people mocked it, others said that such trial and error processes should be highly valued. That's the fate of pioneers. As a result, the initial models with city safety were released during the rise of YouTube and produced numerous verification videos, including epic fail videos that garnered unprecedented views. The reason why this video had a greater impact than others was that the location was in front of a dealership's yard. The test was flawed from the beginning due to the ignorance of the dealer and consumers who did not have a proper understanding of the new feature. Safety features all have clear operating ranges and conditions defined. Therefore, if you are not aware of them beforehand, accidents like this can happen. That's why in this video, I've summarized a few things that would be good to know about Volvo safety features. While the manual provides the baseline information, it's important to consider additional updates that may not be included in the manual. Features that provide automatic support in vehicles are not a one-time development. Manufacturers undergo a continuous feedback process to address any errors and ensure the reliability of the features through updates. That's why there were such complaints in the early stages. First, let's distinguish the generation of safety systems based on the model year. Initial models were referred to as city safety. From the fully redesigned new models onwards, the safety systems were significantly improved, encompassing a broader range of features. These newer systems are named Intellisafe. Even in the current models, the functionality remains largely the same. City safety can be divided into Mode 1 and Mode 2, with Mode 1 applicable up until the 2012 model year. City safety is activated when the vehicle reaches a speed of 4 km per hour or higher. It operates only when the relative speed difference between the vehicle in front is 30 km per hour or less. At speed difference of 15 km per hour or less, city safety can bring the vehicles to a complete stop. At speed difference above 15 km per hour, it mitigates the impact by applying braking force but does not bring the vehicle to a complete stop. Since the default setting is always active, you can turn off the feature whenever necessary. From the 2013 model year onwards, city safety is upgraded to Mode 2. The maximum operating speed is increased from 30 km per hour to 50 km per hour. It can bring the vehicles to a complete stop before collision at speed of approximately up to 25 km per hour. Beyond that speed, it mitigates the impact through deceleration but cannot avoid the collision entirely. Over time, through OS updates, the safety system has been further upgraded to include detection for pedestrians and cyclists. However, there are also safety systems that vary in terms of application depending on the vehicle model, such as blind spot detection and lane departure warning. Let's start with the blind spot detection system called BLIS, which Volvo first developed using a camera-based approach in 2003. It was used for about a decade until it was phased out before the 2014 models. This system was groundbreaking when initially developed. However, due to the physical limitations of the camera-based system, it had reduced reliability during specific time periods such as nighttime, rainy conditions, and sunset. It was prone to frequent malfunctions as well. Eventually, starting with the V40 model in 2012, The camera-based bliss was replaced with a radar-based system, which was then expanded to all models. However, the S80 and XC70 continued to use the camera-based bliss until their discontinuation in the 2016 model year. With the switch to radar-based bliss, the reliability of the system significantly improved as it became less affected by the surrounding environment. The functionality of the system expanded to include features like rear cross-traffic alert during reversing and detection of fast approaching vehicles. Regarding lane departure, initially the safety feature only provided audible warnings. It operated at speeds above 65 km per hour, but the warning sound was often too subtle, and even when the sensitivity was increased, the sound would only be triggered when the vehicle had almost crossed the lane. By the time the driver woke up from drowsiness due to the warning sound and tried to react by grabbing the steering wheel, the vehicle had already crossed the lane to a significant extent. However, with the switch to the motor-driven power steering system, which involves the motor power rather than hydraulic method, the lane departure system was upgraded to automatically intervene and assist with steering when the vehicle deviates from the lane. This upgrade provided more effective assistance. Unfortunately, the S80 and XC70 models were excluded from this upgrade, so ultimately these two models were limited to camera-based bliss and lane departure audible warnings. There are two important things to know about the adaptive cruise control feature that you should keep in mind, as you may frequently encounter situations like this. In the first case, if your vehicle's speed is below 30 km per hour, the radar will detect the stationary vehicle ahead and automatically decelerate until your vehicle comes to a stop. However, if your speed is above 30 km per hour, the system may not detect the stationary vehicle and will accelerate your vehicle to the set speed, leading to a dangerous situation. Although the manual states a speed of 30 km per hour, this value is approximate. Based on my experience, it may not be entirely accurate. Therefore, in such situations, instead of relying solely on your vehicle's speed, you should better intervene as a driver by stopping your vehicle first and then restarting the ACC. The second case involves a problem with vehicles merging at slower speed in front of you. The issue arises because there is a delay of about 1 or 2 seconds for the radar to switch targets. When a merging vehicle suddenly comes closer to your vehicle, there is not enough time for the system to react, making it potentially dangerous. In such situations, it is advisable to rightly tap the brake or temporarily deactivate the function using the button on the steering wheel to put it on standby before deactivating it. This ensures safety since the delay applies to the current models that incorporate semi-autonomous features. Furthermore, vehicles equipped with adaptive cruise control often come with the collision warning with auto brake features as a standard. This system operates across the entire speed range and provides advanced warnings followed by emergency braking when a critical situation arises. It is particularly effective at speeds of 70 km per hour or below. The accident in the introduction of this video was an incident I had in 2016. In that accident, the collision warning with auto brake feature did not intervene at all. This was because the forward radar sensor, which is consistently operational, can detect a stationary vehicle on the road. However, for the collision deceleration brake to engage, the camera also needs to confirm that the target vehicle is overlapping with my driving line. Unfortunately, the location was too dark, and the system's camera failed to detect the stationary vehicle, which had only its hazard lights on. Additionally, my vehicle was traveling at around 90 kilometers per hour, so it was relatively fast. Rather than attributing the system's failure to meet certain conditions, this accident served as a stark reminder that safety systems play a supporting role and the primary responsibility lies with the driver. It reinforced the unequivocal proportion that the driver is the main factor in ensuring safety. One of the most frequently asked questions related to the ACC and CWAB features is what happens if the vehicle in front suddenly brakes while driving with ACC. In such a situation, CWAB is activated, but in ACC mode, only up to 40% of the maximum braking force is applied. This means that theoretically, if I were to hit the brakes fully to prevent a collision, ACC alone would not be able to avoid the collision. Therefore, even when using ACC, it's crucial for the driver to be prepared to manually apply full braking in emergency situations and not solely rely on the ACC system. Intellisafe, classified as a second-generation safety system, was introduced starting from the new XC90 in 2016 and has been consistently applied to all subsequent full-changed models. During this process, if new features are added, they can be upgraded to the same functionality through OS updates. With the addition of the steering avoidance feature, the system's assistance capabilities have been expanded to include collision avoidance during lane changes and sudden swerving vehicles. When it's determined that emergency braking alone is insufficient, the system automatically intervenes by steering the vehicle, providing assistance in various situations. The steering intervention can occur at speeds between 50 to 100 km per hour. However, it's unlikely that the system performs all these actions without any driver involvement. Typically, the system initiates the automatic braking and steering intervention, signaling the driver to respond by applying additional force in the direction the steering wheel is turning. While this process is impressive in itself, one criticism of Volvo is the lack of rear test footage and heavy reliance on animated promotional material. Therefore, personally, if circumstances allow, I would be interested in creating content to verify the extent of voluntary movement in the steering wheel when the steering avoidance feature is engaged. The new models have a notable difference from the previous ones in that they can clearly distinguish target objects, meaning they do not react to objects like a fence or boxes. The rear cross-traffic alert feature has also been enhanced to include emergency braking in critical situations, effective up to a speed of 15 km per hour. As mentioned earlier, the operating conditions for the ACC feature remain the same. Additionally, the new models have an added semi-autonomous feature that helps maintain the vehicle's position in the center of the lane. The semi-autonomous feature supports the speeds up to 140 km per hour, while the standard ACC can be set up to a maximum speed of 200 km per hour. However, it's unlikely that many people would consistently utilize the system at its maximum speed limit. With the transition to the Android OS, the safety system has introduced an emergency braking feature for obstacles during reverse maneuvers. This feature operates based on ultrasound sensors, which may introduce some delay in feedback compared to the radar-based systems. The effective speed range for this feature is 10 km per hour, which is relatively lower due to its ultrasound sensor-based operation. Therefore, at higher speeds during reverse maneuvers or when encountering thin edges that are difficult for the ultrasound sensors to detect, the system may not activate. Currently, some users find this feature to be overly sensitive, which can be a source of dissatisfaction. Next year, the new EX90 will be introduced with new hardware, bringing a significant upgrade to the third-generation safety system. This aligns with the trend in computer-based electronic device, where the software plays a much larger role than the hardware. Even in Sensors OS versions with lower completeness, With the Android OS system, which offers higher compatibility and reliability, we can expect more comprehensive and stable feature implementations. It's indeed difficult to determine the specific changes in conditions or the expanded capabilities of the safety system with each software version update. Furthermore, the manuals do not provide detailed upgrades on these specific changes. As mentioned earlier, accidents comes in numerous types, and attempting to classify them all into specific categories is practically limitless and almost impossible. However, there are two things that can be clearly stated. Volvo strives to make cars safer by covering various driver errors. And if we purchase a Volvo vehicle, it's essential to read the manual at least once, even though it may contain ambiguous expressions and be less readable.